haven't caught up on this 55 build yet, you're gonna have to go back to Stanceworks' channel. We'll put the link up there because Mike offered his shop to us. We've already done a pile of work in a very short amount of time, but we have a flight to catch and we need to get this thing rolling on a trailer and down to a different part of California. So,
yeah, I don't know where you're heading next, but we've been thrashing here in the shop. We've got a 71 Camaro chassis grafted onto the 55 chassis. Everything looks really good, really stout. We've got a 4-link swapped into the rear. You guys are ready to install your new suspension components and put this thing on the ground, right?
Yep.
Right, so let's do it.
Super easy. There we go. All right, so we have no idea what this thing is. We've been discussing it for 10 minutes and nobody's come up with a reasonable explanation as to why there's a chew.
50s hot rod smuggling.
Yeah, either booze, cocaine, or concrete. I mean, the only thing we can think of is that it was for weight, but
we have to cut into it and find out.
We have to cut into it and find out.
Got a bit of weight to it.
It's got a spring in it.
You know what it is?
What is it?
Like a
like anti-roll or anti sway or
yeah,
trailer?
like a sway bar leg.
Yeah, there's a giant spring
it's a
in
rear
here.
Sway bar.
You're full of shit.
It's gotta be. I don't know.
For like a trailer when it's like we didn't know about, we couldn't load behind the back axle and we're wagging the dog. It's like here's the solution for that.
Anything like that.
The original sway bar.
Yeah.
You know what? They should have just kept it like that because now they have stupid links at the end and they rot and they make it. Yeah.
So this was the only truck with a 283 in it, super rare, numbers matching, and prototype anti-sway bar in the back, and we just butchered it.
Numbers matching.
We've got 2 trucks down in California. One we're going to be working on and wrenching and driving home, and then we have a support vehicle. We're picking up the rear axle for the next project. How's it going, man?
It's not too bad. How about you?
Andy and I are going to put the box on while Brad shows you guys how to put the QA1 suspension on a 71 Camaro. Okay, so we got the right width of 9-inch, but I got the wrong bolt pattern. So we had to buy 2 rims regardless, and the only ones we could find was 8 slicks and 8 rims for $100, which is just over $10 a tire and rim.
Those are kind of sick.
Yeah. Can you do a Facebook post 6 slicks for $150?
I'll post them on my Instagram, see if somebody comes and gets them.
Okay, so first things first, we are going to strip this so we can paint it. We're here now anyway. We're just going to splash a quick little matte black on there, but we have a giant spring in there, no torches to cut it. So, what do you think?
Let's put it on the ground. Let's cut some holes in our new rear wheels. We've got those don't fit, so let's cut our wheels. Let's get those on the back end. Let's put the rear axle just on the bump stops. I think that would just let it sit on the ground.
Yep.
Let's put these wheels back on the front. Set it back down on the ground, now we can put weight on it, stand on the springs, and hopefully get them out somehow.
Pop a ball joint?
Yeah.
All right, sounds like a plan. Here we go. Brad, your markings were like spot on. We dropped it, and all 4 bolts.
Oh, nice.
Flinked out.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, so we bought the right width, 4 9-inch, with the wrong bolt pattern. So we're gonna have to get some new axles. We had to find some new tires for the rear. So we hopped on Marketplace, and he had these advertised as 5 3/4 what we needed?
5.5.
5.5. They're 5 1/4. In about 5 minutes, they're gonna be 5 3/4. A little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that! Factory.
Kinda.
Don't even have to go that big.
It looks cool on there though.
I know.
Looks
That's
good.
why I kind of want to make it fit the front too, but I don't think that's going to work with the back spacing. It's too wide.
Even if you put the real high offset one or put them on backwards.
I think the only thing to do is try. You got to cut it the inside. Yeah, keep the same shim. Okay, we're gonna take the cab off the gantry so we can paint the frame underneath, and then basically while the paint's drying, we'll grab supper, and then whether it's dry or not, we're assembling the truck. That's pretty sick, man. Oh man, I'm stoked. I was legitimately worried there for a little bit. I'm like, man, that's low. You're just gonna hit every bump. This is such
another
a
half an inch. So yeah, this is bottomed out. It's against the bump stops on the axle. We're gonna need to notch the frame however much travel you're gonna wanna have. I mean, you might as well put a 4-inch, 5-inch notch on it. There's no harm, other than you'd have to cut the bed out, but hey, there's no bed in it, so. Yeah, let's get a notch put in it. Should be good to go. Otherwise, we can take some quick measurements and figure out if you need to move those shock mounts. You might be able to just put a real short shock in it.
Yeah,
I'm not entirely sure.
I can just put a little link going over to the side a little bit.
No, I think you're set. I think this is going to be sweet. This looks good.
Yeah,
I actually kind of like the steelies and the slicks on it. I kind of want to see that.
I kind of like them too. Oh, we're not gonna spray it. We're gonna brush it, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What's that?
How long that still is.
I know. It's crazy, right?
Is this a lineup for the blowjobs?
No, lowers too, so they gotta come.
Spindles coming right off, right?
Yeah.
They might as well strip all the suspension.
Yeah, just the bottom.
Right.
Yeah. Basically just splash a little bit of paint on the back of that.
Okay.
No, no, that's it. Okay, so paint's dry, had a good supper, and we could go back to the hotel and just watch TV. We're just gonna keep working. So Andy and I are gonna put the box on while Brad shows you guys how to put the QA1 suspension on a 55 Apache? I don't know, Camaro, Apache? 71 Camaro. It's kind of the same idea for all G bodies and A bodies, I think. So I think we'll lift the box on first. I think we'll have a whole truck by the end of the night. There we go. Keep going up. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna install the QA1 complete suspension system, upper, lower, along with the adjustable coilovers. First thing we're gonna do is throw on the upper control arm. Then we gotta stick in the shock assembly before the lower control arm goes. We're gonna reuse the shims that were there until it gets in alignment. With the adjustable coilovers, come factory prepped to be used with the factory lower control arms. Since we're using the QA1 lower control arms, we got to cut this bushing out and replace it with a spherical joint.
Keep in mind too that when you are assembling this, you got your lock nut at the bottom. Never sees in between. The nut with the collar up, that's what's holding the spring. And you also want to put never sees on the aluminum because otherwise it'll gall.
So the kit comes with bushings and bolts for both A body and G body. You can see the difference in the size of the holes. So we just have to select the right bushings and install them ahead of time. A little bit of grease to pre-lube. The kit comes with nylock nuts, but we happen to have just this one here that we'll use to install those.
So we got the shock all the way extended, and we're gonna just snug that up in there. Put the rubber on without compressing the spring. Put the lock nut on afterwards. Put the spindle back on. I think it goes like this. And then just the bottom. We're gonna put the cab back on, and we're all gonna climb on top and see if we have enough power to compress the spring so we can get the upper ball joint on. We did just paint the inside of the spindle, put all new brakes on it and bearings and stuff so she rolls smooth and straight and safe down the road. So we're not too concerned about anything, we just need it as a roller right now. But we'll take it off the jack stands, we'll lower it down, and then grab the gantry and put the cab back on it again. Holy crap, this was a day and a half. I can't believe that we got this much done. So,
Absolutely mental.
stand in the center cradle. We're all gonna go on this side.
That side.
We're compressing this side, so.
Okay.
Yeah, just stand in the middle.
And then Brad goes on my back.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's working. It's working. We're not going up yet.
How's this, Rich?
Climb up.
Starting to go up. Keep going.
You gotta go 3 high. Mike, get to the top.
Yeah, Mike, you gotta go too.
Oh shit, hold on, I'm gonna pull everybody down. Alright. Yeah, we're definitely lifting. I got it! I got it! I got it!
Roughly around 600, 650 pounds.
Okay.
gonna leave it there for tonight.
Yep. It's not going anywhere. Lots of room for activities.
That's a big engine bay.
Yeah. That's big Holley sticking out. High ram. Air filter sticking out here. Okay, that's it for tonight. We're all pretty tired, so we're gonna go back to the hotel. We need to shave a little bit off because the control arms, the upper control arms are a bit bigger. And then we'll bolt her down. We gotta do the rad support, radiator support tomorrow so that we can drive down the road. Throw the hood back on again with the hinges. And
It's done.
it's done.
Not bad. Is that a day in like 6 hours now?
It's a day and 8 hours.
Okay.
We started at 2, it's 10:30.
That's
So and that was a full night's sleep. I can't believe how efficient and quickly everything went. Like nothing really went wrong. We didn't, other than a ½ inch too far in on the
And I wouldn't
front.
even say that was wrong. You know, I mean, it still worked out fine. It didn't really affect anything at all.
No, we should have just, instead of measuring what our wheelbase was, we should have just Googled it. Like, oh, our tires are supposed to be this far. Let's just add ½ inch and then we're good.
Cool.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
All right, I'm going to bed.
Yeah, we're going to bed.
Are you throwing it out? Or you should finish?
Oh, we're throwing it. Okay, so this morning we just put the clip on last night, real easy, but without bolting anything down. But we had to trim just a couple pieces. We did move the frame ahead a ½ inch. That's as far forward as we could possibly get it. We're just going to go over everything that we did because we might not all be together again on the next trip when we're all down in Cali again. So everything that we put on, we're just going to double check, make sure that everything's tight. I had to clearance a little bit more on the inner fenders to make up for the different suspension. We're going to make a rad support for the front because those ears were off. We got a scrap guy coming, so we got to load him up with all of the leftover parts. I think he's going to restore a 1955 Chevy. He's got all the parts for it. And then we're going to load up and head back to Pismo again. So just a few things this morning. It's kind of raining, which kind of sucks, but yeah, it's going to be a good day regardless. I'm there. Okay, just throw a bolt to the top. Because I think we gotta go up.
My side looks like it's gotta go down a little bit, but it could also be halfway.
Right.
You want to stop for that?
And then just weld a little piece in between, like sticking out. Yep. And that's it. And actually, I would. I'm thinking if we bring the seat channel down, we just need like a little plate.
Yep.
And then just so it sits on there, right? So I need that plate to come down to about here, so we can put rubber in between and spacers.
You're gonna gasket it.
And then that's it, yeah. But bring it down a bit because I'm gonna have to build like ears coming down for a bumper. But I don't want this bracket to be on the bumper because then if we get in a fender bender, it's gonna wreck the whole rad, right? So I gotta build a piece that comes out once I find the bumper.
Let me trim this off.
Yep.
Right across here on both sides. And
Yeah.
that'll basically give us right from the underside all the way across.
Yeah, there's one bolt there, but yeah, that's fine. I wouldn't go right across.
Okay.
We'll just build a little ledge that comes out to here with just a little triangle in behind it.
Okay.
And that's good enough. We don't need a bar across the whole thing.
Okay, so we're just gonna extend this frame to pick up this point and that frame to pick up that point.
Yeah.
Okay.
bet you guys are just itching to buy this shirt because you want to be like me, super productive. So that's the distance, just slide her over there.
Okay. You guys on that one?
Yep.
I assume you wanted it offset still.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's perfect. Okay, so what we're doing is doing the front radiator mount. You've seen us take it on and off a bunch of times, and that's because we're trying to get our gaps right. Now, when we make those radiator supports and you want to do it, you make sure that you drop it down. You can always shim up, but if your bracket is too high and you need to drop the front of the core support down, then it's a real pain. No problem sticking shims or washers underneath, grabbing a bigger bushing. But once that's welded up, we can bolt this down for the last time. And we're done at StanceWorks. That's oh, a little bit of paint. A little bit of paint, then we'll go. Paint, lunch, then we'll go.
All right.
Shove it over my way. The body? The body. How big are those tires?
Those are 27 and a half.
27 and a half. And these are 22. So we're gonna go up 22. We're gonna go up at least 2.5. Right. Let's do that. So 22. If we're at 20, 22, if we go up to 24. It's not bad. A little bit more. Okay. Good. We gotta crank the springs on the right. Here we go. All right, so that's it for us at Costa Mesa. Apparently I'm saying it wrong, but I say every American city and state wrong, apparently.
It sounded great to me. Costa Mesa. That's how I say it.
I said Mesa, I think. But anyway, Mike, thank you very, very much for trusting us with your shop, for letting us feel welcome and at home. Like, honestly, it was such a blast. And we met Mike a few years ago at one of the events. I think Holley.
Who knows what? Yeah.
Who knows? And yeah, we just really, really appreciate it. I hope we can do it some justice. So we're gonna head to Pismo now, where we will finish the majority of the work. But I promise I'll come back and we'll go for a drive.
Yeah, that's all I want. I'm glad the truck's going to a good home. I'm gonna miss it a bit. I really thought I'd dive into it as a build, but it's just too busy around here. I've got my hands full, and what better place for it to go to than Canada? So
nice. So I think we figured out with 4 of us working about, I think we had 25 hours on it before this morning, so probably about 30 hours.
Yeah.
4 of us times 30, we've got 110, 120 hours into it, but that's 2 guys lifting the clips off, 2 guys rolling the gantry.
Yeah.
If you did that amount of work with one person, it would be like a month, 5 weeks worth of work.
Easy,
So
easy.
So, and it's amazing how well we all work together. Even though we're like polar opposite, you guys need to check out Stanceworks, check out all his work. But Mike, thank you very, very much.
Thanks you guys a ton.
We will be in touch, and yeah, I'm very much looking forward to finishing this thing.
Good, now get out of here.
Okay, so doing some mileage, and it's not 100% accurate yet because our tires are bigger. We're off by about 4. But roughly we're getting about 11 miles to the gallon empty. That's putting around, going through a lot of hilly areas because we're in California, and towing the trailer about 9 miles to the gallon, same thing. So it's not bad. The truck's not that heavy because there's no drivetrain in it. But yeah, I do want to show you guys, the truck is actually doing really good. Besides, we got to check the transmission, make sure that we're not doing anything there because it's kicking in and out of overdrive a bunch, even on the highway. Probably because of the bigger tires, so we might have to adjust the cable going to the transmission. But brakes are fine because here's a hack with U-Haul. When you step on the brakes with a truck, this tongue compresses, and this is actually a brake master, just like you would be pushing on your foot, and that's what puts hydraulic brakes on the trailer. Thing is, they crank these springs so tight that the trailer brakes never come on because U-Haul wants you to use your truck brakes. So when you get the trailer, just crank these nuts out and relieve all the tension on the spring, and then the brakes on the trailer actually do what they're supposed to. Just wind them back when you bring them back, and don't tell anybody you got that from me. We're gonna check the oil. I don't think we're burning any oil. We're gonna check transmission fluid, and then we got a couple hours to go, and we're in Pismo. Okay, so quick recap. Everything's gone to plan very, very well and accurately up to this point, but you can't always control everything. So quick recap, we landed in Vegas because it's super cheap. We rented a car, drove down to Pismo to the Dirt Cinema boys who was storing our 95, did a quick tune-up on that, wheels and tires on that, then picked up the Ford 9-inch on the way home back to Vegas, dropped off the rental car, went to SEMA for a couple days, then took the 95 and drove to Costa Mesa where our 55 was. Wrenched on that inside Mike's shop, that was fantastic. Got everything done that we wanted to do ahead of schedule, plus a couple extra things. So that all went very smooth. Rented a trailer, loaded up the 55, and then drove back to Pismo where we were gonna wrench with Johnny and Manuel. Problem is, when we originally started the project, Johnny and Manuel lived in a different place with a shop and a hoist. So they no longer have that shop. They're waiting to grab the next shop, so we were forced to work outside. And unfortunately today, it is raining. Now, we were going to leave today, so then it would have been of no consequence, but our flights got changed to tomorrow. So we got an extra day. We just kind of can't wrench because it's pouring rain outside. Everybody's gonna be miserable. So we're trying to figure out solutions. This is the first time it rained in Pismo in a year. It kind of misted the first day we were here wrenching on the 95, and now it is 100% chance of rain until we fly out. So we're figuring out our options. We might try to find a shop somewhere where we can have a bay, but we do need some tools. We can't take tools with us to say like a car wash because we always need something you didn't think about, and really we're working 8 hours to get 1 hour of work done on a better conditioned setup. So we're gonna go inside. We're going to see what parts ended up here to start the swap into this, and then from there we'll figure out if people call us back on some other solutions. So come on, we'll go figure this out. Okay. All right, so first problem is that the header showed up because this is how the box was, and one of our exhaust manifolds is missing, so we got to deal with that. That's also why we are gracious with Johnny and Manuel. They can say, hey, we got the box, one is missing. So before we get there, we can make some phone calls and say, hey, we got an issue, because there's no point in us flying all the way out here, having half the parts and not being able to finish what we need to do. So again, today was kind of a bonus day. Holley shipped stuff out as fast as they possibly could to give us some stuff to do. I was hoping that the wheels would show up, because then we can check our fitment and make sure that our wheels turn inside the well, and then I can order tires from Toyo. But we got some more parts aside, so let's go check it out.
We got $3 out of this guy.
Well, Johnny's intrigued with our Canadian dollars.
Like, what's it backed by? Maple syrup? And I'm just kidding.
Yeah. You make fun, but your money is way inferior to Canadian money. Ours has like holograms, it's plastic, it can get wet, it can take everything except the microwave.
Just let's see what happens in the next 4 years.
And this is how far projects go back in the planning stage. We picked up that 6.2 that we tore down, and that we will be building into a stroker and shipping to California, installing it here, and then driving it home.
Oh, that's great. We can see if this fits in the we can turn it.
Oh, just another LS swap. We're kind of forced to do that. We're not going to do a crazy swap into that because it would take way too much time to fabricate everything. So thanks to companies like Holley, we can get bolt-on parts for engine mounts, headers that will fit that. That's also why we chose the Camaro front end, because there's so much stuff available for Camaro LS swaps, and it just makes sense because we don't want to be here for months. We want to try and cram this in as quick as possible and get it done. So we're gonna just see what kind of parts we have. We got a fuel system, we got some lights, we got a radiator. I think the Terminator showed up. And I'm very excited about the gauge set, because the gauge set is just, it's so pretty. I just gotta make sure that okay, so we know what parts we have. That was a very important rim. I'm not too worried about the back because we can cut into the box. We can flare it out a bit, roll the fenders, whatever we need to do to fit the back ones on. They're a little bit wider. But now that we know that we can fit the gauges, chest fit the tire, install part of the fuel system, I think it might let up just for a few hours, so we're gonna just clear some space in the shop. Johnny's excited because it hasn't rained in a year, and for us to ask him to work in the rain is like somebody coming to Canada and asking us to work in a blizzard. It's like, no, it's not fun. We don't do that here.
It rains like 5 times a year in California, and it's the hardest rain I've ever seen in California, so.
Yeah, we need a little push up. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Fuel tank. So this showed up the day we were here. We need to burn this. I think we just self-tap it right to the front. So I tried to.
You might have to bolt straight up from the bottom, right?
Yeah. So the only issue is we've got a bumper in the way.
You come forward a bit. That's her.
Yeah, right there.
I'll get my fingers on this side.
Yeah, so we gotta take the bumper off, and then we'll.
Sandwich it
the
back.
holes are
You
almost
probably
there.
sandwich it between those two brackets, right?
Yeah, because it does go underneath, and then as long as we put one bolt through the bottom of the bumper bracket,
Yep.
and then just drill one hole in the front, and then it's in.
Yeah, that looks nice.
I got a little hanger. Pull it up.
Tell me twice.
The cross member has got a big dent in the one, so when it's hitting the bottom of the tank, so we're going to, I just got to bang that up. Wondering why it wasn't going through nice. So the reason we went with this tank is because it's meant for a 55. Misses the cross member. It's notched around the rivets for the cross member, made to go underneath, so we've got decent capacity. The only thing we had to work around was the bumper. So a little bit of fab work, but because we need to keep going, this is the best setup. Also, the sending unit, the
I don't even know what this one's for. Vent, return, feed, I don't know. But they all kind of miss the frame rails too. If you want to go with stock frame rails, it only makes sense.
I think this would be the fill, sending unit, and return.
Yes, that's it. Was it meant for EFI? I think it was.
Yeah, if there's a return, it'd be.
So this is supposed to catch all 3 holes, but because we've got our bumper actually like clamps, goes right, there's just enough space for the flange. It's actually the bumper that's kind of holding on the fuel tank and ain't going nowhere. I'm just gonna cut a little bit off, so we got a nice flat washer bolt to go there. And as you can tell, productive shot. No guard. Weird.
My father always tells me you need to put a guard on it, and I'm like, you can't get in there.
No!
It's a little dangerous.
You need to cut off one of your thumbs.
Yeah.
Look. Oh, that is pretty sick.
Did you not know that?
No, these tailgates at home are about this big. So I've never had a function, and even if it was, this would all be rotten, and it would fall off.
You still got the original rubber.
I know. So you don't scratch the paint.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, so I'm gonna do a rough explanation of how the fuel system works. This is a Holley fuel pump, high flow EFI fuel pump, but you wanna, it flows backwards. From the tank, this is the sending unit. From the tank to the flow, this is a filter, pre-filter to the pump then filters it again to protect the injectors on the fuel rail. The rail goes all the way through and then all the way to the regulator, and then the regulator, so it'll pressurize the entire system to the exact PSI that you want it on the injectors, or to the injectors, and then it returns back to the tank. And you shouldn't have any issues.
Okay, so there's lots of little things that we're missing. That's why we spread our work weeks away. We can gather up, make lists of everything that we're missing. Now that we've got a front tire on there, we can see how it turns and what size tire we can fit on that rim. We can order the tires. Hopefully they're here for next time. We definitely need new axles for the back because that's a different bolt pattern than the front. It's a nice thing with the 9-inch because they're so universal. We just pop the axles out, pop in the ones with the 4 3/4 bolt pattern, so then they'll work. I'm not worried about the side-to-side clearance on that. The biggest, the widest in these rims that we could get was 10-inch, I think. So we got lots of room in the back. We're missing the and fittings for the fuel tank, for the return and the supply. And I'm sure there's lots of little stuff, and we're gonna grab all those pieces from Summit. Like, they basically have everything. They've been really good to us, shipped to us wherever, so we just gotta be clear on what address we're actually at that specific time. But for the most part, we'll be working from Dirt Cinema's bay from here. So we'll tighten that down, we'll start turning the steering wheel, we'll keep moving. Here we go. Still only here, right?
Yeah, but we're also suspension's hanging.
Yeah, but we can keep it a little stiffer. I'm wondering, so it is the shock that's making us go up, right? If worst comes to worst, we got to put a longer shock in there, and we can drop it down another inch. Yeah. Okay, so we were gonna make a nice plate to CNC and mount the pump and the filters and that, but they do fit inside this little frame really nice, and they're kind of protected by the tank, and I've got the space for the head of the bolts on the back of it yet. So we're just gonna mount the pump here, the filter, pre-filter here, and then the after. We want this pump as close as we can to the tank so it has as little work to do as possible, and then we'll put the filter and the frame probably on the way there. So instead of making a nice plate with the CNC plasma table, we are going to make the C-notch for this so we can drop the back end down. So here we go. I'll just put the tape there and drill through the holes.
Should work, yeah. He has a good season.
There's the OEM cluster from the 55 and brand spanking new from Classic Instruments. It's a good sign that harness fits. No, that other one getting out was a really tight fit. Man. No tolerance at all in 55, eh?
Build it like you. It's gonna last 70 years.
Yeah. I feel kind of bad taking the other one out.
Yeah?
Well, I don't know. It's probably.
There's a wasp nest in it.
Inside of it?
Yeah.
Man, that is tight.
So, I don't know if you want to go 26 to be safe, but
No, I think if we do 27. Yeah, but realistically, your tire's gonna be more here. I think we can do it.
sorry, yeah, this would be 27.
Okay. I was gonna say that's a pretty low tire. We can do 27. Because really, all you have to worry about, and at the back when we turn this way. Yeah, I'm not going on that. You're still okay.
So this is the, you could actually get this, it says gasket right there. This is a Holley gasket kit. I don't know why they put a magnet on one side, but so we're gonna cut this up and make some gaskets out of this. They got cool logos all over it, so about 3 inches. It's pretty big for a gasket, so I think this will work.
Okay, so we're running out of parts and we're killing time, so this is a group effort to install the retrobike. We got one guy pulling that apart, we got one guy opening the box, we got one guy pulling off the plastic, and me delegating, telling everybody what to do. We're working well as a team.
Great job, Josh. There it is.
2 people, that was heavy. I said, this is the most rain California's ever got. It rains like maybe once a year, but that's like all our water is like just right now. So, yeah, other deer just running.
Even they're getting out of the rain. This is bullshit. What is this? What's going on?
Yeah, we only get weather like once a year, and then it's only happened since you guys been here, so this is great.
So we can come back? What that means is we can't take the Bronco in the dunes because the dunes are now mud. It's mud cinema, not dirt cinema. Yeah.
Two hands on, Rich.
bumper can go back on. It's got to squeeze around like
Right.
underneath.
They'll sandwich it, right?
Yeah.
Did I go really big?
No, really, you did perfect.
I did perfect?
Did perfect.
Yeah, it's Astro Pneumatic. The best. We're not a giant commercial. Not at all. Can you hand me that Coca-Cola?
Yeah, drink by my iPhone.
This is a nice Chevy truck.
All right, that is the end of another epic workday. Unfortunately, we didn't get another part shipment, but because of the rain, it did slow us down a little bit. Nonetheless, we got a pile of work done. We checked our fitment for our front tires because we had one rim show up. Now we can order our tires. We mounted the fuel tank, the fuel filters, fuel pump, the dash, and the some of the lighting. So we got a good plan for next time. We know we need to get some more parts, like a C-notch for the back, and we will order all of that. So in the meantime, yeah, Johnny, thank you very much for letting us store the truck here. Yeah, the neighbors think it's another pile of garbage, but it is actually, we are all very, very excited about the truck. We are heading back to Vegas with the 95, flying home tomorrow, and then back on our project. So we don't know where this kind of fit. This was, if you followed us on Instagram, you know this happened a while back, but this is kind of our vacations throughout the winter because we go to California for beautiful weather where it's warm and sunny, and we go to the beach in our spare time. Unfortunately, we didn't do enough homework in that aspect, but you will see us back here again in a short little while, and this thing should be ready for the spring. So thanks for watching, guys. Remember, if you're not filthy, you're not rich. Get out there with some friends, make a plan, make a road trip, cheap flights to Vegas, buy something cool, drive it home. If you're not filthy, you're not rich. Here we go.